A woman is found lifeless in her apartment.
There was no evidence of any breathing or anything, and I was like, I'm pretty sure she's dead.
It looks like a tragic accident. Detectives start with the closest person to her estranged husband.
First of all, you're arresting me when I didn't do nothing wrong. That's fine. Let's go. Let's go to jail. Let's go.
His past is clouded with domestic disputes.
She put me in jail once, and then she is intoxicated as hell.
A victim or an aggressor. Turns out she had been meeting strangers on a dating app.
What I would like to know is how you met online.
As detectives peel back the layers, they chase a trail of deleted messages. Questionable life insurance.
He said, well, I'm waiting for a check in the mail. I said, for what? And he said, life insurance. And I said, well, you took one? He's like, yeah, I took one out on her. He's like, I knew she was gonna die.
And a string of unsettling behavior that points them in a direction they didn't see coming. The journey to the truth is filled with misdirection, new suspects, and chilling discoveries. And the question remains, what really happened to Erin Mulcahy? It was July 7th, 2017, when the landlord of a Waynesfield apartment noticed water spilling out onto the floor. As he walked closer, he could hear the sound of water still running inside. He called out to his tenant, a 35-year-old woman, but the place stayed quiet. There was no answer. The landlord called her father-in-law. Together, they stepped inside to check and made a gruesome discovery. Without wasting time, he called 911. Police were now on their way to the scene. They were just getting the first details. When the officers arrived, the landlord told them everything. He became concerned and found something tragic.
So when you entered the apartment, explain how you went ahead and made entry on that.
I know I grabbed the knob just, make sure it was locked. The doorknob was locked, so I would unlock it, and it still didn't open. Bathroom door was closed, so I know we beat on the door, yelled her name, no reply. So we went in, and that's when we seen her in the shower then. Which as soon as he seen her, he yelled something like, oh my God, or something like that. And there was no evidence of any breathing or anything, and I was like, I'm pretty sure she's dead.
Law enforcement agencies had to confirm what he was saying.
901, go ahead.
When you responded to 200 Karen, they just made entry in the bathroom. They're not sure if it's the 16 or not.
Affirm. I just cleared this 57. I'm en route right now. It's going to be the name of the female.
Over the radio, officers confirmed they were responding to the apartment on Karen Street. Entry had just been made into the bathroom, but they were still waiting to confirm the identity of the woman they had found. Another officer quickly cleared a previous call and rushed over to the apartment.
What's going on?
I'm sure she's been in there for 2 days probably.
Okay. In this apartment here?
Yeah.
Erin
In the
Mulcahy?
shower, yeah. Brent, his dad was here the other day.
Okay, but they haven't.
Thursday evening, and she was in the shower then,
Okay.
and where nobody saw her.
Nobody talked to
And when
her?
I came in today, when we were remodeling that one,
Okay, yeah.
I heard the water running, and I looked
I
under
see.
the floor, and water was running out.
Running out.
More officers arrived at the scene. The investigation was now in full motion. The officers started gathering details at the scene. The landlord explained he believed Erin had been in the shower for 2 days. It was the same apartment they were standing in now.
The dispatcher called me on the radio to notify me of a possible deceased individual at Karen Street here in Waynesfield. Once I arrived on scene, I was met by the landlord who said that the deceased individual inside the residence was Erin Mulcahy, who lived at the apartment.
The water had been running all this time. The officer carefully entered the apartment to inspect the scene further.
See this table and chair?
Okay.
I moved them in there.
Moved them in. Okay. And so she's in here?
Yes.
Okay.
He opened it, and there it was, the kind of sight that never leaves you. As the officer got closer, he quickly made some observations. The officer knew this was bigger than he could handle alone.
You could tell that there was clearly rigor mortis in Erin's body, but I couldn't see any gunshots, anything like that. Definitely could not determine a cause of death. I decided to call in the Bureau of Criminal Investigations as well as a detective to assist me in processing the scene.
The case was now in the hands of the investigators. Aaron's body was carefully placed into a body bag and taken from the apartment. It was sent to the Lucas County Coroner's Office for further examination. As the investigation continued, a familiar face arrived at the scene.
My wife will come be here in a few minutes.
Okay.
There's no way I could go in.
Okay, that's fine. And what I can do is I can do a verbal interview with you too, and that way you don't have to worry about writing it.
Aaron's father-in-law was the first family member to show up at the apartment. He mentioned that his wife would be arriving soon. The officers learned that the landlord had called Aaron's father-in-law when he couldn't reach Aaron's husband, Brent Williams.
We also met Aaron's father-in-law, who was also standing at the south edge of the property. And I explained to the father-in-law that I would just ask him some questions. He was there because the landlord called him asking for permission to go into the apartment. He couldn't get a hold of Aaron's husband, Brent Williams.
As they spoke more, the father-in-law described what happened when he first arrived at the apartment.
The guy that owns those calls
Okay.
and said that he had to get in there.
Okay.
So I said, well, would I be able to tell you okay? He said, as long as you guys are here and go in with me.
Sure.
He told me about the water running, so he shut it on.
Okay. Before you guys made entry, he shut the water off? Okay.
So when I go in there, the door, the bathroom door's closed. I beat on it.
Mm-hmm.
I open it up, and I thought I seen her laying on the floor there through the glass door.
Okay.
And then Jim called you guys.
The thing about Waynesfield, Ohio, is that it is a small, cozy town, almost a rural village. Everyone knew everyone, and the detectives had grown up with Aaron's husband, Brent. The conversation turned to Aaron and Brent's relationship. The officers paid close attention to this part of the story.
If prior to today, when was the last time you were actually in this apartment?
Thursday.
Thursday. And was anyone with you when you went in?
Brent and I went in there.
And what happened on Thursday?
Brent needed to get his checks, extra checks, out of there because he didn't know what Aaron was going to do.
Okay.
The officers paid close attention to this part of the story. There seemed to be a lot of tension between the two.
He wanted me to come along because we're witness.
Sure. Makes sense.
Go in.
Yeah.
We hear the shower running.
Mhm.
We think she's in the shower.
Okay.
He gets his checks.
They didn't want a confrontation. Brent quickly grabbed his checkbook, and the two men left the apartment together.
Father-in-law had stated Aaron appeared to be in the shower, which they were happy about because they knew there wouldn't be a confrontation then at that point in time. So Brent retrieved the checkbook, and then the father-in-law and Brent proceeded to leave the apartment complex together.
The father-in-law made it clear the breakup had been recent and had not ended well.
How long had they been split up, do you know, roughly?
I believe Monday of last week. What is today, Saturday?
Today's Saturday, yep.
Monday, of last week. I don't know for sure.
Okay, so it's just been recent?
Very
recent. Okay.
Tension was already building around Brent Williams. While the officer was still speaking with Aaron's father-in-law, a BCI agent arrived at the scene. A BCI agent is an officer or special agent working for the Bureau of Criminal Investigation. Walking alongside the agent was Aaron's father. The officer shifted his attention, ready to hear his side of the story.
This is the victim's father.
Okay.
From Mulcahy.
Nice to meet you.
Known him for years from church and stuff like that.
Okay.
And, he was telling me that Aaron has had kind of struggled with alcohol.
Yes.
Some seizures,
Right.
stuff like that. Is there?
She was bipolar too?
Bipolar.
Is schizophrenic?
Yeah. That's why I haven't been here. I told them, wait, when you guys get your act together, then
Sure.
we'll start acting like a regular family.
Sure.
Fussing and fighting, I'm not getting involved.
Right.
Because there was one get me in the middle of it.
Sure.
Jim told the officers he had known Aaron's father-in-law for years through church. He also shared that Aaron had struggled with alcohol for a long time. Jim knew about her health problems. The conversation revealed more about Aaron's past.
Jim was very clear that Aaron had an alcohol problem and that Jim had paid a lot of money at trying to get her rehabilitation.
And I know she'd had seizures on and off, but I didn't know that they were how bad they were lately. I mean, she'd been having something lately. I just talked to her 2 days ago.
There was another layer of concern about Aaron's condition.
She said she was going to try and get better. Her and Brent had left, and she said, I'm going to try and get better and get him back. Which meant she was going to quit drinking, which probably is what did her in. And she probably would have a seizure because she would seize up when she quit drinking, but she didn't do it right.
Jim also mentioned Aaron hoped to get better and win Brent back. She said she would stop drinking, but Jim believed that if she had suddenly quit drinking on her own, she might have triggered a seizure. That's what he suspected had happened to her. But the investigators weren't ready to settle on guesses just yet.
Jim didn't know if she took her medications regularly or not, and he did state that if she wasn't taking her medications, then she likely would have a seizure. That certainly weighed into how we investigated, because we didn't know what had happened at that point.
About 15 to 20 minutes later, Brent Williams, Aaron's husband, showed up at the apartment.
Hey, Brent, can we talk to you for a few minutes?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's, if you don't mind, if we come over here, and we're going to be in the shade so the sun isn't beating down on our heads.
Can my dad over here too? Or no?
That's up to you.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yep.
Brent's father stayed close by for support. The officers started with simple questions to ease Brent into the conversation.
Let's just start with when's the last time that you actually talked to Aaron?
Sunday.
Sunday?
I moved out Sunday.
You moved out on Sunday? Okay.
Yeah.
Was it kind of a heated argument, or
Nope.
just
Nope.
she just said get your stuff and go?
I
And
did.
oh, you just
My dad came with me.
okay.
Got my clothes.
Uh-huh.
Pulled out.
Okay.
Stayed that night.
Okay. All right. And did she say anything to you when you left, or nothing at all?
No, I just said I was very quiet about it. My dad was with me. He'll vouch that I got my clothes, didn't say a word to her,
Sure.
and got out.
Okay.
Brent explained that the last time he spoke to Aaron was on Sunday. That was the day he moved out of the apartment. The officers then asked if he had spoken to Aaron since that day. Right then, something unexpected happened.
Did you guys have any conversation
Nope.
after you hadn't talked to her at all since Sunday?
Text
Okay.
her. Yeah, you
Okay.
want to read the text?
Remember, Brent, I said don't volunteer. Answer questions, okay?
Brent's father cut in. He reminded Brent not to offer too much information to the police. That warning didn't sit right with the officers. It raised an immediate red flag. Still, with the autopsy not yet completed and the case just unfolding, they couldn't draw any solid conclusions yet.
However, with it being a fresh investigation, without having an autopsy done at that point, we couldn't pinpoint that there was possibly other factors involving her death at that point.
The officers needed more details, so they kept going. But they knew they would need to keep a close eye on Brent. Brent was surprisingly cooperative.
One other thing that I would like to do, and here again, this is just to eliminate you from any wrongdoing, is I was wondering if you would be willing to give a voluntary DNA sample. Like
From my
swab,
mom.
yeah,
Let's do it.
swab,
I'm
yeah,
willing to do that.
yeah, okay, all right, perfect.
The officers then moved on to further details.
Now, the other thing that we would like to have, if it's okay with you, is your cell phone, just to go through it to make sure there wasn't any calls or anything.
He did that.
Yeah, I already showed him myself.
Like all the text message, right?
That's all the
That's
text
all I
message.
got.
But when it came to handing over the phone completely, things changed. The officers could understand that most people wouldn't be comfortable losing access to their phone. The officers pressed him again.
Are you saying that you really don't want to give up your phone at this time then?
Well, I don't want to give my phone. I have no reason to give up my phone. You've seen all the information I got.
Okay.
Brent made it clear that he had no intention of handing over his phone. At that moment, the officers still didn't know exactly how Aaron had died, but something about the whole situation was off. Until they could prove otherwise, they had to treat it as suspicious. Talking to Brent gave the officers a useful background. They wanted to understand the kind of relationship he and Aaron had shared. While investigating, they uncovered something interesting. Over the past year and a half, police had been called to their home several times.
In the year and a half or so that they were together, I had been down at their residence multiple times for verbal domestic disputes. My mind immediately shifted to the prior encounters that I've had with Aaron and Brent and their domestic issues.
It was always about verbal domestic disputes. The officer's mind quickly went back to those past encounters, especially one that stood out. He decided to review the body cam footage from that incident.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
what's going on?
She left? She left? I didn't know what the situation was when she came back. I don't want to go to jail. She put me in jail once. And then she is intoxicated as hell.
Okay.
In that case, Brent had called the police. Aaron had left the apartment earlier and then came back. Brent didn't know what to expect when she returned. He was nervous.
I can't deal with this anymore.
Okay. You think you're drunk?
There ain't no thinking about it.
Just relax. You think you're drunk?
I have drank.
Okay, yeah, I can tell. How long have you, when did you start today?
Earlier today. I don't know exactly.
The officer noted she seemed drunk, and when he asked, Aaron didn't deny it.
I tell you, I'm going to fix this issue. I'm going to my mom's side.
Okay.
I'm going to get out of here.
Okay, that's a good
I
idea.
don't want to go to jail.
Right.
I've been there once. I don't want to go again.
Sure. No, I get that.
That's why I called.
No, yeah, and that's the right thing to do. You live here, right?
We both do. We're married. So I'm allowed to live here. And he is, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, especially if my dad pays my rent.
Okay. Well, she's right in those regards. You both live here.
The alcohol abuse was impossible to ignore. It had been at the center of most of their problems. Brent seemed desperate to leave without trouble.
Yeah, there hasn't been any other than verbal argument. That's all. There hasn't even been an argument.
We argue.
Okay.
We argue.
Okay. Okay. Well, I can't stay here all night and wait until. So, what's the plan then?
I think.
Okay. Hold on. Whoa. Hold on. I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to Brent.
Let's get my stuff. And I'm going out.
Okay. Are you doing that now, or? Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I can stand by while you do that.
He packed his things while the officers stayed nearby to make sure things stayed calm. Aaron was upset, but eventually stepped aside to let him leave. The officer kept thinking about that night. Maybe Aaron had really tried to get clean after that. Maybe something medical had gone wrong. But every time the officer had met Aaron in the past, she had always seemed to be under the influence. He had never seen her sober. Perhaps this was a case of overdose.
In my mind, I thought, well, maybe she was trying to get clean and then she had the medical issue that caused Aaron's death. I had never seen Aaron not under the influence. I mean, every time I had encountered her from a law enforcement perspective, she always appeared to be impaired.
It became important to speak with Brent again. The officers wanted to see if his story still held up and if they could convince him to hand over his cell phone. Detective Burke and his partner headed out to Brent's parents' house, hoping to catch him at home.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Super. Are you looking for Brent?
Living the dream. We are. Is he here?
No, he's in line.
Okay.
When they arrived, they found Brent's parents instead. As soon as the officers explained they had more questions, Brent's father grew tense.
Okay. Is there any way you could get a hold of him or have him come back down here? Because I'd like to talk to him again, if that's okay, real quick.
Well, yeah, but it's not going to be real quick. He's a lineman.
No, I understand that.
Why are you wanting to talk to him again?
Right.
There's just a few more things that we'd like to talk to him about from, Saturday night when we talked and whatnot.
Okay, you got me on it.
Okay.
You got his mother on it.
Okay.
You better come across with something, buddy, because I'm thinking my son's going to jail, and you let her straight hug me out on you. And I'm damn serious.
Okay. He's not going to jail.
Okay.
Brent's mother wasn't convinced either. Brent's parents were nervous. The more they heard, the more worried they became.
Is he going to be charged with something?
No.
Is he going to be charged with something?
No, we're still trying to figure out exactly what's going on.
Get this figured out, okay? Because there are some loopholes that we're trying to get those loopholes filled up. That's what we're trying to do.
Well, I'm about ready to pass out here.
Okay.
I am
Because you're
too.
working me up.
No,
Now, I know you're not doing this intentionally and all this.
How am I working you up, sir?
Because my son is in on this, and you're asking more questions about him.
And she's
Wouldn't you be
dead.
concerned about him?
Right.
You wouldn't be concerned about your son? Wouldn't you?
We've been a mess.
Brent's father was visibly shaken, but soon the conversation took a sharper turn.
Pissing me off.
No, I'm not.
You both give me the idea. Because I stood there. Saturday night up there. No big deal. We're just crossing our teeth.
That's
And
what,
now you come back.
That's all we're doing, though. That's
I don't understand why you're upset.
I do. You're acting like you're going to try and put my son in jail. That's what I'm thinking. Tell me if I'm wrong.
You're not. You're wrong. I am not.
Brent's father grew defensive, accusing officers of trying to trap his son. He didn't like that they had come back with more questions. The situation became more tense and uncomfortable.
I have no intention on putting your son in jail, but
I'm scared to death you are.
We have an obligation to figure out what took place as well. And there's a couple more questions that we have for him. And the reason we came here is because this is where he is living.
That's right.
If he wasn't living here, we would go to where he lives. We wouldn't come here and bother you guys.
The father's behavior didn't match the kind of concern someone would usually show in this situation. Something about it felt off. The officers eventually decided to leave the house, but they knew this wasn't the end of it. They'd be back. The following Monday morning, the call finally came. The preliminary autopsy results from the Lucas County coroner were in. Erin hadn't died from natural causes. She had been strangled. It was now officially a homicide. The report showed along her gum line and dried blood inside her mouth. It looked like she had been punched in the face. From the beginning, it had seemed like maybe this was going to be a case of natural death. But now, everything shifted. They already knew Brent wasn't going to hand over his phone willingly, so they had gone ahead and prepared a search warrant. The next morning, they returned to Brent's parents' house. The conversation started off easy. Brent seemed calm, even upbeat.
So how you doing this morning, Brent?
Great.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Hey, I know that last night I went up to Beer Barrel, and I know yesterday was kind of a long day. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
like you and I had talked, we figured we'd meet this morning, a little bit easier to talk and,
Yes.
and things like that. So, as long as that's okay with you.
That's fine. Today's
still-
fine. Today's fine. I
Okay.
got my.
However, before they could really dive in, Brent's mother interrupted. She didn't seem too happy.
Is this being recorded?
Do what?
Is this being recorded? Is this conversation being recorded?
all conversations I have are recorded. Yeah.
So, okay.
Why weren't we told that?
Because
It's not an obligation to let you
secrets from that?
No, we're not keeping anything from you guys.
Okay. We're getting legal counsel.
Suddenly, the gloves were off. She thought the officers were secretly filming with a phone, but it was actually the body cam, which is common knowledge.
Here is William.
Okay.
There's his number.
You're
Call him
scaring
today.
man. You're
I'm calling him today.
okay,
Okay.
we've got his number. We don't need his
Yeah,
number.
you didn't tell us. This is it. I'm done.
You're scaring.
Yeah, you're scaring us.
Calling.
Who you calling?
I'm calling the other detective.
What?
He's got some paperwork to give to Brent real quick, okay?
Y'all not gonna fill it out with that legal.
No. That's
No, it's not about filling it out.
not a problem. I'll be right back.
The mother grew more uneasy and even his father appeared frustrated. Just then, the officer stepped out to make a quick phone call. Both the parents seemed highly entitled and confrontational.
We knew that it was time to get the phone and leave the residence because things were not going in the right direction.
The officers stepped outside to finish what they came for. The family followed them out, still voicing their fears.
Yeah, but he said that this was not he's not going to arrest my son.
We are
That
not.
could wait till today.
We are not arresting him.
Okay.
All right. Any questions? You have my info. You can call. Did you have anything else?
One thing's for sure, all four of you has got me scared. All four of you. I'm scared.
Like I said,
I haven't slept.
the only thing we're trying to do is trying to figure out and run every answer, question, anything down that we can to figure out why, because it's not right.
My
She's-
son's going.
The officers reminded the family that they were just trying to figure out what really happened to Aaron. That's all they wanted. They were not there to arrest him. Not yet. They just wanted to close the gaps, to understand the full picture.
The Williams family felt as though we were pointing all fingers at Brent. But at the end of the day, the reason we're there is we want to try to get to the bottom of what actually happened to Aaron.
They served the search warrant and took Brent's phone. The officers now had what they came for. The Williams family was on edge, feeling like the walls were closing in. But the investigation wasn't about blame. It was about finding the truth. And the next step was buried inside Brent's phone. The search through Brent's phone turned out to be a dead end. There was nothing in his messages. No hidden conversations. No confession waiting to be uncovered. Nothing pointed directly to Aaron's demise. But that didn't mean they were out of leads. They turned to Aaron's phone next, hoping it would tell a different story. The last activity on Aaron's phone dated back to July 5th. She'd made a call to a man named Kurt. The call lasted about 8 minutes. After that, Aaron's phone went silent. Detectives set out to track down Kurt. When they met with him, Kurt wasn't defensive or uneasy. He was calm, willing to talk.
Hey, this is why I wanted to come talk to you real quick. And like I said, I'm not going to take up too much of your time. But throughout the investigation, I am extremely confident that you are the last guy that she spoke with. I mean, anybody.
Surprised me.
Anybody that she talked with.
Okay, well,
Okay.
You know, she was a bad alcoholic. I'm sure you know.
Right.
She drank every day. And that's how I met her, through Alcoholics Anonymous. I've been clean for 27 years. And I met her there. And I take her to a few meetings at times. I tried to help her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and last time I seen her, I was trying to think, man. It's been at least probably a couple of years. But I've talked to her regularly.
He tried his best to explain how he was trying to help her get her life together. He said Aaron had been upset about Brent when they last spoke. She'd told him about a new guy she'd met on the dating app Plenty of Fish. She'd even confided in Kurt that she'd been with this man, and though she felt a bit guilty, she still went through with it.
Let me ask you this. What about the guy that she confided into you about, the guy from Tiffin?
Right. She had said that some guy she had with some dude. She felt a little bad, but she went ahead and had met some guy on
Plenty of Fish.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm probably 90% sure that was one.
Detectives leaned into this new lead. Kurt remembered Aaron saying she'd met him, but he didn't know much more. But he was concerned.
Does that make me a suspect?
It does not make you a suspect.
I mean, it don't bother me because,
No.
yeah.
No, you're not a suspect,
I mean,
okay?
if I am, so be it, because
Right.
I know better.
Right.
You know?
But like I said, I want to be honest with you.
Uh-huh.
I want you to be honest.
I want to be honest with you. I want to help you find the truth.
Right.
If
As well as what I want to find the truth.
Mhm.
And I think that we're going to find out what happened. What happened or didn't happen.
Kurt asked the detectives straight out if this made him a suspect. They reassured him it didn't.
But I need some more answers because, you know,
Right.
The way
Oh,
things-
absolutely.
I need some more answers. And like I said, I need you to shed some light on some stuff. Yeah. On her with. Yeah.
Man, it's just too weird.
Right.
For her to tell me what that stuff
Right.
and then to turn up dead is just too bizarrely ironic, you know? And yeah, as a friend I owe to, I'm gonna miss her. Well, we talked a lot.
Right.
You know? Even when she was drinking or whatever.
The detective thought it was strange that Erin had told him all this shortly before she was found dead. All that changed after hearing the entire story, and the detectives ruled Kurt out. He hadn't seen Erin in months. The trail now pointed somewhere else, to the man Erin had recently met.
We determined that Kirk had actually not seen Erin for several months. So Kirk was not a suspect in this case, and that we needed to focus more towards this mystery person that Erin had been seeing.
After Detective Burke's conversation with Kurt, he circled back to Erin's phone. There was still one unanswered question. Who was the mystery man Erin had met on Plenty of Fish? Digging deeper into her account, he found a name. Jimmy.
So after Detective Burke spoke with Kirk, he went back to Erin's phone, decided he needed to try to find out who this mystery person was. So he got into her phone and looked at her Plenty of Fish account and found this guy named Jimmy.
The more they uncovered about Jimmy, the more serious it became. Turns out Jimmy was already under investigation in a nearby county for allegedly sexually assaulting Erin. They tracked Jimmy down and met with him for an interview. The officers approached him and tried to casually ease him into a conversation about Erin. Right away, Jimmy was cautious and wary.
Jimmy, I'm Doug Carter. I'm a detective with Glace County. I was wondering if you could help me out. I actually am coming to you for some help, if you don't mind.
It depends.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give you a name. And you're probably going to think I'm here for another reason, but I'm not here for that reason, okay? So can I give you that name? Erin McCauley. Okay. You familiar with her?
Very familiar with her.
Okay. Well, that's why I'm here. Alrighty.
When the detectives brought up Erin's name, Jimmy tensed up. They carefully led him into the real reason for the visit. It was important to assess his reaction.
And I know that you and her had an encounter this spring. Okay. And my question is it has nothing, what I want to talk to you about has nothing to do with that. But it doesn't. This is what I am wanting to really find out. I don't know if you have heard that she has passed away.
No, I didn't know. I haven't spoken to her.
Okay.
They tested the waters by asking him about the assault case. Jimmy was on edge and irritated, but they had to know more details.
Well, Mike, what I'm trying to do is there's a few things that are a little wishy-washy, all right? And what I have worked with thus far and what I have found out is, like I said, I know that there was an issue over in Salina.
What do you know about it?
What do I know about it?
Yeah. So I only ever got to talk to one time.
Okay.
And I told him very firmly exactly what happened.
Right.
And another word about my situation.
Right.
Ever again.
Right. No, I understand that. No, I understand that. But my thing is I don't need the details, but my thing is, what I would like to know is how you met online. Okay. Do you remember what dating website that was? Plenty of Fish. Okay. Now, when you met her, did she indicate if she was married at all, or did she ever mention?
She mentioned she had a boyfriend.
Okay.
Erin had lied. This web was getting more complex. They pushed further into the timeline.
Okay, and who would this boyfriend? What was his name?
Yes.
Okay.
If you said it, I would know it, but I
Brent?
forget. That's it.
Brent?
Yep, that's exactly who it was. Yeah, that was his name.
Piece by piece, the connection between Erin, Jimmy, and Brent was starting to surface, but the answers were still tangled, and the timeline still had gaps waiting to be filled.
If he showed up over there, my guess is he.
Right.
I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how they ended up calling. I have no idea.
Right.
I didn't ask no questions.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? I didn't.
Right.
I didn't give it.
Right.
I just knew what she told him was story.
Right.
Complete utter whatever she told the guys.
Gotcha.
So I set him straight. No, I'm not answering questions.
Right.
I had nothing to talk about. I have no question to answer. I told you yes, I was with her, and no, that is not what happened. Right.
The detectives listened carefully, trying to separate the truth from speculation. Jimmy's honesty was steady, and he didn't hesitate to answer their questions. He seemed genuinely surprised to hear she had died. His timeline didn't match the crucial moments leading up to Erin's passing. Still, one thing remained. The deeper they looked, the more they kept circling back to Brent. While that was happening, a woman named Tiffany Reynolds approached the authorities. She wanted to come forth and share some information.
Later on, a person by the name of Tiffany actually reached out to us and said she's had some information that she wanted to provide to us regarding Brent and a relationship that she had with Brent.
This may be an ordinary conversation, but she revealed some troubling details.
How long ago did you guys meet?
He wanted to meet up with me last weekend, and I kept telling him I had to work.
Okay.
Well, then he kept texting me and calling me, so I finally got back hold of him, and then we were just texting. So we met yesterday over at Shawnee Reed Road, but he started talking about his wife dying. I'm like, okay, I thought maybe it happened, a while ago. But then the more and more talked, I said, how long did it happen? Oh, it's not been 2 weeks yet. My first reactions are serious. I mean, if my husband died, and I'm a widow, I wouldn't be worried about being on these chat lines and doing this whatever,
Their conversations had quickly turned. Brent had sent her explicit photos of himself, and Tiffany had responded in kind.
So we're just making comments. I was like, talking about the world. I was just playing along with them, just with them, like, how you text on people and stuff.
Right.
And he said something about her dying. But the way he said it was weird as hell.
But what stuck with her wasn't just the pictures, it was Brent's unsettling attitude.
What did he say?
We were just sitting there, and he was talking about, he's got to get this on in his life. And I said, well, when's the thing you got to do tomorrow about, putting her in the mausoleum? And he said, well, it's tomorrow sometime. I got to call her dad, Jim. I think that's what he said. And I said, we don't have to rush this. Even though I wasn't trying to be right. Just talking. I said, we don't have to rush this. I said, because you need to grieve for your dead wife. I said, most still what people are. He goes, when I was done, I would grieve. He goes, I didn't care before she died. I've been okay with this. He's like, I'm ready to move on.
He didn't appear too sad, but that was understandable considering they were drifting apart. Just then, Tiffany revealed something that would seal his fate.
And then he's all happy about getting a check in the mail for her death. The way he said it, he was like, weird. He said, well, I'm waiting for a check in the mail. I said, for what? And he said, life insurance. And I said, well, you took one? He's like, yeah, I took one out on her. He's like, I knew she was going to die. I said,
did he say how much?
$25,000?
He told her his wife had drunk herself to death and casually mentioned a $25,000 life insurance policy he had taken out on Erin shortly before she passed.
Given the fact that we were able to prove the $25,000 life insurance policy on Erin, that actually provided us now with a motive to really focus in on Brent.
Tiffany admitted the whole thing felt off to her, especially since Brent seemed more interested in flirting than grieving. The detectives moved forward quickly after confirming Brent's life insurance policy. The timing of it, taken out just over a month before Erin's death, lined up too closely to ignore. The motive was suddenly staring them in the face. When the DNA results came back, linking Brent directly to Erin and eliminating Jimmy from suspicion, everything they needed to take Brent into custody was finally in place.
Right after we were able to confirm that, we got DNA results showing that the DNA inside of Erin belonged to Brent. That excluded Jimmy as a possible suspect. And at that point, we now have enough evidence to make an arrest.
And when officers arrived to arrest him, Brent didn't hold back.
Put your hand high.
Hey,
What in the hell?
he does go outside and get arrested too, all right?
What the
I
hell?
don't care what he's got. You're better. I'm gonna tell you something right now, sir. All right, go.
He did not do this.
You're right.
He did not.
Yeah.
My arm hurt. Stop this. Come on, put my arm. You're first of all, you're arresting me when I didn't do nothing wrong. That's fine. Let's go. Let's go to jail. Let's go.
Hey, Brent.
I'm ready to go to jail.
Brent, relax.
Brent Williams had waived his right to a jury trial, leaving the verdict to retired Judge Mark O'Connor, appointed by the Ohio Supreme Court. As testimonies ended, a clear pattern emerged: Brent's behavior after Aaron's death. His quick turn to other women, the life insurance policy, and the forensic evidence all pointed to guilt. He was found guilty of murdering Aaron Mulcahy and sentenced to 15 years to life in prison. The case shook the town. The last homicide was almost 60 years ago. For the police department, it became one of the most significant cases ever. What brought Brent down wasn't a single moment. It was the weight of everything he thought didn't matter. Thanks for following this case with us. If you like stories that pull back the layers and reveal the truth step by step, subscribe to Case Unraveled and join us on the next deep dive. Leave a comment. What detail changed your mind in this case? See you in the next one.